Okay, so there are a ton of huge projects hitting Netflix this month, including a bunch of smaller things you probably didn't know about. In this video, we're going to talk about all of the best stuff Netflix is adding, including all the new Netflix originals, the comedy specials, the documentaries, as well as the familiar movies that you might want to watch again. This video is sponsored by Caseify. I'll be telling you more about them later in the video, but right now I want to tell you about the best stuff they're adding on March 1st. Now, this is where they add a lot of the stuff you're familiar with, but on the 1st, they're going to be adding titles like The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2, which is the finale of the series. Not sure why they're not adding any of the other ones, though. They're also going to be adding Magic Mike 2, so if you saw the new one in the theater, it's a good time to watch the sequel. And then they're adding the entire Hangover trilogy, obviously the first being the funniest by far.
In the face! In the face!
They're adding even more comedies, including Big Daddy, which is appropriate because there's another big Adam Sandler movie premiering later on in the month. Easy A is one of Emma Stone's earlier movies following Superbad. It's kind of like a teenage version of The Scarlet Letter. And then one of the most classic comedies of all time, National Lampoon's Animal House, which never gets old no matter how many times I see it.
Sorry.
The first also brings Rango, one of my absolute favorite animated movies to have been released this century. It's like a classic Western, but with an incredible comedic performance from Johnny Depp, and it's one of the most visually stunning animated movies I've ever seen, and that includes Pixar movies. For some dramatic classics, they're going to be adding 7 Years in Tibet, Sleepless in Seattle, and The Other Boleyn Girl. Also on the 1st, a new game show comes to Netflix called Cheat. This is a UK-based game show that looks pretty standard, but contestants are encouraged to cheat, and it looks like it could be a fun watch, especially if it's been a while since you've seen a good new game show. Now, before moving on to March 2nd and everything else coming to Netflix in March, I do want to tell you about today's sponsor, Caseify. This is my brand new bounce case from Caseify, and it's their most protective case ever. EcoShock impact absorption technology allows your phone to simply bounce when you drop it. So not only do they have these clever little corners that do really protect your phone, they're also not in the way. I was surprised at how well this thing slipped in and out of my pocket, which is incredibly important for a phone to me, but it also grips to surfaces, and I have no idea how it does both. Something else important to me with phone cases is that it's raised above the screen, so if I set my phone down, it's protected, but the same thing goes for the lenses. There's a raised bezel around that also protects them very well, and they're made from 65% recycled material. They're super slim and again, just slick going in and out of your pocket. Right now, my viewers can go to the link in the video description below and save 15% on their Caseify order. Not only is it a fantastic protective case, but they have tons of designs to choose from. You can even customize yours. Here's one they sent me with an FC for flick connection, and as you can tell, I'm using this psychedelic green one on my green iPhone 13. But Caseify has over 2,000 slick designs to choose from, and they even have accessories like straps and charms. So just go to that link in the description, caseify.com/flickconnection to save 15%. It really is the best case I've ever owned, and it's a fantastic deal. But speaking of fantastic stuff, let's talk about the rest of everything coming to Netflix in March. On March 2nd, they add This Is Where I Leave You, a family drama starring Jason Bateman and Tina Fey. Then they bring Sex Life back for season 2, one of the more salacious scripted shows Netflix has released in the past few years. March 3rd adds a docu-series called The Plane That Disappeared. This is about Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 that disappeared in 2014. 239 people went missing. There was a whole global investigation, and basically we came up with nothing. This should make for an interesting docu-series. And then on the 4th, one of the biggest things to hit Netflix probably all year is Chris Rock's new special. Trust me. This is not only his first time back at comedy after years, but it's also his first time back at comedy after being slapped by Will Smith at last year's Oscars. And I've heard a lot of the world's top comedians saying that Chris Rock's latest material is among his best, and Chris Rock has had some of the most epic comedy specials in stand-up comedy history. So not only should this be an excellent set, but Netflix is also going to be airing it live. So this is something I will definitely be checking out live on March 4th. Hopefully it is a hit, and this is something they continue to do with other really great comedians like Chris. On the 9th, they bring back You for the second part of season 4, which just aired last month, but they like stretching things out a little bit just to make you wait. So you'll get to wrap up You very, very soon. And then on the 10th, they add another project I've been super excited about for a while, Luther, Fallen Son. Now, if you've never watched the crime series Luther starring Idris Elba, I highly recommend it. It's available on Hulu right now, but it had been on Netflix here in the US in the past. It's an incredible detective series. Idris Elba is obviously fantastic in it, but he is a really hard-nosed detective who doesn't just play by his own rules. He really does skirt the line between being a criminal, and the villains that they came up with in that show are absolutely incredible. This is going to be a standalone movie, but the production of the series was so fantastic, it was really like watching a movie, so this is kind of like a short Luther season, which I'm down for. If you're still into reality survival shows, they're going to be adding a new one that looks pretty solid called Outlast. That's also going to be available on the 10th. And then the 16th adds 3 solid movies, starting with Dragged Across Concrete. This is actually from the same director as Brawl in Cell Block 99 and Bone Tomahawk. If you were a fan of either one of those movies, I highly recommend checking out Dragged Across Concrete. It is fairly slow-paced, but the dialogue is top-notch. This, to me, feels almost like a more realistic Tarantino movie, meaning it feels like it takes place in our world, but there's a slight Tarantino touch that does not feel like a ripoff. It feels fresh and new. If you have patience and you like solid cop movies, definitely check out Dragged Across Concrete as soon as you can. They're also going to be adding Kick-Ass 2, which is a fun action movie. I don't think it's anywhere near as solid as the first one, but it's a decent follow-up with some decent laughs. And then, speaking of follow-ups, they're going to be adding Riddick, which is the 3rd movie in the Riddick series, the first being Pitch Black. I love this 3rd installment though. It's got top-notch action, some really killer sci-fi horror elements, and some really decent storytelling, especially for a Vin Diesel movie. Story-wise, this feels kind of like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie, but just done on a top-notch production level with some really fantastic moments in it. If you didn't love the previous Riddick movie, I still recommend giving this 3rd installment a shot. And then also on the 16th, they're bringing back Shadow and Bone for season 2. This is an incredible dark fantasy series. It is targeted at a slightly younger audience than me, but my wife loves this show and cannot wait for season 2 to start. If you love darker fantasy stuff, definitely check out season 1 before season 2 begins. The 17th adds several brand new series to Netflix, including Agent Elvis. This is an adult animated series that looks to have a lot in common with Archer from FX. Hopefully, the writing is at least half as good as Archer. If so, I'll definitely be checking this show out. Now, I should say these dates are all subject to change, and Agent Elvis is actually a loose date. It is not official yet, so that one could change. But the full list of all the titles we're discussing is in the top pinned comment down below, not the video description. So just go down there, reference that. If you're on your phone, do a screen grab, and then you get the full list of everything coming to Netflix with you everywhere you go. Hopefully that's enough value to get you to click that subscribe button and the like button. They're also going to be adding a series from Spain titled Sky High. Now, I've already reviewed a Netflix original movie titled Sky High. This is about modern-day drug runners that are making tons of money, and I liked Sky High. Not sure if I liked it enough to check out the series, but if you dug the movie, definitely check out the series, and if you dig the series, definitely check out the movie. They're also going to be adding Dance 100, which is a dance competition show, which doesn't sound like something I would enjoy, but I did enjoy Physical 100, which just recently came out on Netflix as a Korean fitness challenge show. The structure of that game show was pretty fantastic, and if they applied that to dance, this could make a fantastic watch with the family. Speaking of watches with the family though, they're going to be adding The Magician's Elephant. Every month they seem to add somewhat of a big budget animated movie for kids. Sometimes they're absolute turds and sometimes they're really fantastic. The Magician's Elephant looks like it could be an exceptional one. On the 22nd, they're adding Waco, an American Apocalypse, which is another documentary chronicling the Waco incident, and honestly, I've seen several. I can't imagine they're going to be shedding too much light on it that I haven't already seen, but apparently they do have some previously unreleased footage included with this one. And then on the 23rd, they're adding The Night Agent. This is about a low-level FBI agent that gets sucked into a conspiracy that leads back to the White House. If you enjoyed The Recruit, which again just recently released on Netflix, then this also looks like another good watch for you. And then reality TV show fans rejoice because Love is Blind is coming back for a 4th season. This was such a hit show on the first season, you can guarantee they're going to keep making them until they just run it right into the ground. Kind of like most of the relationships on that show. Rob Lowe fans rejoice because on the 30th, they're adding a new sitcom starring Rob Lowe, where he's sort of this tech guru for some big company, and he's got a son that's his heir, and if you still like sitcoms, this looks like it could be an exceptional one. However, I've not really been that happy with the ones Netflix has released lately. I do like Rob Lowe though, so hopefully this one is an exception. And then on the 31st, they're adding Murder Mystery 2, which is the latest big Adam Sandler release, but it's kind of one of the biggest ones to have released on Netflix yet, and he's made a bunch on Netflix if you haven't noticed. I don't love all of them, but I'm a big fan of his classic movies like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, and I will say that the first murder mystery movie is pretty funny. It's got a lot of solid jokes in it, and not a lot of easy jokes either, just solid, funny little situations that kind of stood out to me, and I enjoyed it as a murder mystery movie. Jennifer Aniston is particularly funny in these, and the new one features Mark Strong, who I've just always been a big fan of his, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Again, not in love with all the Adam Sandler projects, but like I said, Murder Mystery is among the best of all the ones that he's done so far. Hopefully the sequel is as solid as the first. Here is everything leaving Netflix in the month of March. If you're new to the channel, welcome, but the date listed is the date that it is gone, which means you can no longer see it on that date. Make sure you watch them before the date listed. I've put some titles in bold. These are ones that I've recommended strongly on the channel over recent videos. If you want more recommendations, go check out some recent uploads, but that is the list. Thanks to Caseify for sponsoring this video. Go check out their link in the description, but I will keep making these videos as long as you keep watching them. Thanks for checking out this special Netflix episode, and you will see me on the next one.